We spoke earlier by phone from the UCLA Medical Center with Brian Oxman, family attorney associated with the Jackson family and friend of Michael Jackson and Randy and Jermaine, as he mentioned. And Mr. Oxman has been good enough to find our cameras and joins us once again. I can't imagine that you've seen the same things we have seen as this helicopter took off from UCLA and landed at USC, but there was a certain finality to see Michael Jackson's body wrapped in a sheet and put on board, taken off the helicopter and into that van. This has really happened. That is really a shock moment for all of us, I guess.
Keith, I felt the helicopter. It was a shock wave of monumental proportions, not because the wind was so great, but because I knew what it was doing here, and I felt its rotor wash, and it really has struck me beyond description.
We also heard Jermaine Jackson speak briefly, and I think, again, I don't think you have to be a fan or an enemy of the family or a friend of the family or disinterested to appreciate that he spoke to the media and so quickly after his brother's death. He said two interesting or curious things. He mentioned that the cause of death would have to await the coroner's decision and would presumably, as we discussed earlier, would presumably await toxicology tests, which they do for anybody, almost anybody in any such circumstances. But he mentioned that his personal physician, Michael's personal physician, was with him at the time of his collapse at home. Do you know anything about that fact?
I know that Michael had been under the care of physician. I know that he had been receiving medications, which is what has been so alarming to me. And I know that the excess medications has been something that the entire family has been worried about. Whether or not that is what has caused this, whether we are looking at a criminal investigation, I just do not know. But I can tell you, Keith, it is a fear which I had, a fear which I expressed very openly, and now I find myself here, having gone into the emergency room and had Randy Jackson hug me and cry, and Jermaine hug me and cry. We couldn't even speak.
This issue is so contentious. I think we've addressed it sufficiently, but I did want to see if you could rectify two things quickly. The idea that there was a personal physician with him at the time of his collapse, and yet the coroner's office said it has to do an autopsy because he was not under the specific care of a physician for a medical condition. Are those two things necessarily conflicting?
No, they're not conflicting at all, and I'm going to leave it to the authorities to do their job. We've got a spectacular office in the coroner's office here in Los Angeles. The district attorney is going to look at this very carefully, as will the Los Angeles Police Department. Not going to second guess what they have to say or what they're going to do. All I know is that I am going to await the outcome of those tests, because this is what I feared was going to happen. And if this is the result, then there's going to be a lot to say and a lot of anger in my voice.
Mr. Oxman, you are allowing for the possibility that whatever you saw or thought might be not connected to what happened to Michael Jackson.
Absolutely,
today.
Absolutely. Keith, this could have been a malfunction of his heart. It could have been a congenital defect. People die from very strange causes, which autopsies will show us what the cause is. I'm not going to second guess what the results are going to be. I only know that I feared being here on this day, talking to you and talking to others.
Jermaine Jackson said that his brother arrived at UCLA at 1:14. We know the time of death was 2:26. Jermaine said that resuscitation attempts continued for over 1 hour. I imagine that is a particularly poignant fact and was a particularly poignant period of time for you.
I got the call from Randy Jackson. He said he was going to meet me at the hospital at UCLA Medical Center. I was with Bert Bachman of Galpin Ford. He is a very interesting man who I absolutely adore, and we got the call right at that time. I then came from Galpin Ford here to the UCLA Medical Center.
Brian Oxman, our great thanks once again for your time.
I appreciate it, Keith. Thank you.
Michael Jackson is dead. Our coverage continues.